All right, ladies and gentlemen, C3 and I are here with a very special guest, and we're hot, coming in hot from ringing the bell at NASDAQ in New York City. And we have a gentleman in here from all the way from Puerto Rico. Where is that? Is that close to here? No, it's in the Caribbean. And he sold real estate for 10 months at EXP, and then he retired from selling real estate. You're going to meet AJ Mida, the Rockstar Hall of Fame legend, coming up next right here on Cliff's Notes. Real estate agents, are you struggling with the day-to-day grind, dialing for dollars, putting in hours of floor time with little to show for it? Are you looking for tips, tricks, and tactics to accelerate your career as an agent that will have you closing more homes, working with more clients, and earning more money than ever before? Hi, my name's Cliff Freeman, and I've spent the past 2 decades of my real estate career running one of the top brokerages in DFW and personally coaching over 1,000 high-performing real estate professionals across North America. I created this podcast to share the strategies and tactics you need to explode your real estate business. I guarantee it. And the guarantees remain hot and on today. And look at that, he's already here. AJ is here. Magically appeared just like that. Welcome, 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 ladies and gentlemen. And yes, it looks like we just got back from New York, doesn't it? I'm guessing I just had to pull this out but did we have a great time ringing that bell?
It was amazing, yeah.
I mean, it was the most surreal thing I've ever felt. I used to work in New York and worked on Wall Street, and to get up there and just see all that again, Times Square and everything was really incredible. In fact, I think I might have, do we have a couple of pics, Trelvis, back there? Oh, who are those guys? Wow. The tall guy on the left looks like C3. Who's the guy in the middle there?
I think that's the founder.
That could be. Is that Glenn Sanford? It is, the founder and now CEO again. We brought him back, right? What a great time to have him back in the saddle. And Shorty over there on the right, that's me sporting the red shirt and the whatever snakeskin jacket that was. Verl Workman was there. Russ was there. Lagren from, he's up in Detroit, actually.
Yeah.
AJ, not far from where you are.
Okay.
And he's director of growth for EXP for that area, that neck of the woods. And there we are right there. Look, you can see Glenn getting ready to ring the bell. I mean, man, this was so exciting. It was really fun. Yeah. What was that was the dinner. By the way, in case you guys haven't heard, we just formalized a partnership with Realty.com. EXP and Realty.com are now joined at the hip. That's C3 and me kind of back down on the right-hand side, sitting next to Glenn, Veronica Figueroa, and Tony, and Leo Pereira, and just really some incredible folks who joined us for dinner. That was Gallagher's. That was like the oldest steakhouse in New York. I mean, it was
so cool. Yeah. Having all the meat in the window, and as you walk in, you just look to your right and you just see all this dry aged hunks of meat.
Oh yeah. If you ever want a big hunk of red meat, this is the place to go in New York. No
for
question,
sure,
right?
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, but that was fun. But this is going to be more fun now that AJ's here, because this story is incredible. I'm so excited that you could make it. I know you're here. You're just like in and out, man. You're coming in to do a conference or something, and then you're heading back on the plane. When are you leaving?
Yeah, so I'm actually headed to Jackson Hole to go snowboarding and snowmobiling backcountry for, I'm actually gone from Puerto Rico for 11 total days, longest I've ever been away from my family. But what I found is Jackson Hole, Wyoming is very far from the Caribbean, so Dallas is right in the middle, so I thought I'd fly in, stay here a day, link up with you guys,
there you
and
go.
Fly out in the morning.
Yeah,
so, short trip here.
That's awesome, man. What a great opportunity. And you're going to see some really great friends of ours, Johnny Mikish, and Lars is going to be there. And I think, let's see, what's that? That's Jackson Hole is where you're going to be headed?
Exactly.
Some of the best snowboarding and skiing you can do.
Yeah, but that's a steep mountain, isn't it?
It's a steep mountain, yeah. I didn't realize that when we booked the trip, but then I started doing a little research, and it looks like it's kind of expert terrain, but I'm pretty good at snowboarding now, so I'll be all right.
Yeah, I hear the snowboarding in Puerto Rico is pretty amazing.
Yeah. Well, we have kiteboarding, which I'm currently doing, and I don't like it quite as much, but I'm also still learning.
I've seen
it's
your
pretty
videos.
epic.
I've seen the videos of you out there kiteboarding.
Yeah.
That's really incredible. Well, man, AJ, first of all, man, I'm so glad you're like I would say a son, but I mean, because you're that age, right? You're only 36.
Yeah.
And when you and I met, you were, I guess, in your late 20s. Isn't that right? Because you were at
28, 29.
Yeah, you were schlepping houses at Keller Williams, stuck on the treadmill, trying to figure out if you wanted to build a team and what you wanted to do next. And we were working. I was with Lars back then, and you were coaching with Lars, and I had the privilege to be able to work with you for a while, and it was kind of weird because this opportunity just sort of appeared for both of us, and I talked to you about it, when I found out about it, and then you wound up coming over to EXP, selling real estate for 10 months, which has got to be probably a record for the shortest time in selling, and then went straight into agent attraction. And that's what you've been doing ever since. So tell us a little bit about that ride. I want to hear from your lips to the audience's ear here, sort of what that was like.
So just a little background. When I first got into real estate, I was really looking for freedom. I wanted financial freedom, time freedom, location freedom. I read the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book by Gary Keller. Great book. It actually inspired me to get my real estate license. And what I discovered, my first year of real estate, it wasn't as easy as I thought it might be. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I learned through that book that you could be an entrepreneur. So I was like, I'm gonna build a real estate team eventually. I'm gonna take all the extra profits and invest in real estate, and my real estate investments are going to be that way to achieve financial freedom. And what I discovered, my first year only sold 6 houses. I somehow got Rookie of the Year, which is kind of laughable. I made no money. But what I discovered within my first 6 months was if you hire a coach and follow a proven model, you can become successful. So by the end of my first year, I had over 20 active listings, sold 36 houses my second year as an individual agent, then started to build a team. And within a couple of years of building the team, was close to 100 transactions a year, and I was no closer to freedom. What I discovered is after taxes, business expenses, after just all the energy and time you put into building a team, it was probably going to be never when I was going to achieve financial freedom. In fact, I was going farther into debt running a real estate team. So what I saw with EXP was this opportunity to still build a team, to recruit great agents and to retain great agents, because that's the main job of every top team leader, regardless of what brokerage you're with. But I was like, well, if I bring in great talent, they can go out and also bring great talent to my organization. And then we have this amazing platform to operate on that helps fulfill the services to the agents. And it's not all on me. So I was like, let's go. This is my path to freedom. And it proved pretty quickly that it was.
It's interesting you mentioned, because I think, in terms of Hall of Famers, Gary Keller is probably going to be leading the charge up there. But the thing is that when he wrote that book, at the time, that was cutting edge stuff. But you've heard me call it the Old Testament. And the reason being is that under that model, in order to move up, sometimes you just had to move out. And so it's like Lars, I asked him one day, I said, in your, rise to fame, how many buyer agents did you wind up going through? And he said, well, I think 75. And I said, how many do you have now? And he said 3. And then my question to him was, what about all that time, effort, energy, and money that you poured into training those other 72 buyer agents? What are they doing now? Are you still getting a return on your investment? And he said, no. Well, it took him a little while to really start to believe in the model, but what I love to call the New Testament is that, you don't have to move out in order to move up. And so, it's like you were describing, you can now flourish as someone who is a builder of agents, right? And someone who can pour value into agents' lives and then still get paid for it. In the old days, it was coaching, right?
Yeah.
You remember that? Having to get your credit card dinged?
Yeah.
$1,500, $2,000 every month. And that was a tough model, man, because the average life of a coaching client was 9 months.
Yeah, high turnover.
Yeah, high turnover. But what have you done? Talk about what you've done. You've built an incredible organization now. How big is your organization again?
Yeah, so just passed 6,500 agents recently, which is crazy. And the cool thing about EXP, I hear a lot of times, well, I don't want to recruit agents. And it's like, well, that's fine, but do you talk to agents here and there? And do you want to participate in the upside of a $1 billion company? I was in Charlotte, North Carolina. I was the Mida Real Estate Group, selling real estate at a local level, and now I last looked 10 plus countries, almost every U.S. state, 6,500 agents, and what's cool is, John Mykesh and Lars Hedenborg, who are in my organization. Lars, the founder of Real Estate B School. John Mykesh, amazing owner-operator of Roost Real Estate before partnering with EXP, like high-level business people in my market in Charlotte. I looked up to these guys. They're now in my organization. If I called up Lars one day or John one day and said, hey, do you want to partner with me at Mida Real Estate? I got this cheap office over here that I painted myself and got IKEA furniture, and we're going to sell 100 homes this year, and you can be on a 50-50 split with me. That type of talent would have never walked in the door at Mida Real Estate Group. I bring myself and my wife over to EXP and a few buyer's agents, what we had at Keller Williams. And day one, I have this big opportunity. I have this amazing playground where I can invite friends, colleagues, and aspirational people that I admire to come and partner with me. And that's what's happened. And that's why now we have 6,500 agents of a multi-billion-dollar company. And we're all shareholders. We got an opportunity to ring the bell on NASDAQ. Like, what an amazing ride it's been. So with EXP is for me all about freedom. We see this meme, it floats around social media from time to time, and it's, real estate agents don't retire, they die. And that's the sad truth. Most people just work until the day they die. They never live out their golden years. They're always thinking about how can I get a referral, or how can I do one deal to subsidize Social Security or whatever. It's like, that's no way to live. And the way I grew up wasn't super abundant in terms of finances. And I was like, man, I want to live different. I want to be able to retire young, live my life. So
I mean, you've been able to do. I remember when you bought your mom that house and the video of you handing her the keys. I get goosebumps thinking about it too.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that's been a while. I mean, you were only with EXP how long then?
Yeah, so when I did that, 3 years, so that was fall or summer of 2020 when I was able to buy my mom's house. And what's crazy about that, buying a house with cash is, a big deal for anybody. The house I was living in when I joined EXP was $185,000. That's the house I bought for my wife and I, our first house we ever owned. This was 7 years ago. The house I bought for my mom was $200,000 and I paid cash, whereas the other one I put 5% down because that's all I had.
Right.
But that stock came from our Icon Agent program. So my first year at EXP, I was an Icon Agent. I got my cap back in stock, that $16,000. Over that 3-year period, it appreciated to around $200,000. I sold it. Unfortunately, it went up a lot after that.
Yeah.
But not unfortunately, because I was able to, get my mom out of a situation she didn't want to be in anymore, put her in a house that she fell in love with, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what a blessing.
Yeah, and it's funny. I want to go back to what you said a minute ago, but about agents saying they're not recruiters, and I think that's just a mindset thing, because that's all they spend their time doing is recruiting clients.
Right.
Either that or they go broke, right?
Yeah.
So when you say you don't recruit, that's like saying I don't prospect, and it is. I mean, what is the difference between finding 2 buyers a week and 2 sellers a week, and then talking to 2 agents a week? Is there any difference in your mind?
The skill sets transfer completely. What's even crazier than that thought process is the teams that are running teams, or the independent brokerages that say they don't want to recruit. It's like, your job as a team leader and a broker owner is to recruit agents. Like, that is your job. I learned this from Gary Keller. I love my time at Keller Williams. It's a great company. I learned a lot there. I became a successful agent because of that company. So all great things about that. Gary Keller said the number one job for a team leader is to recruit good talent and to retain good talent.
That's it.
And that's it. And when they say they don't want to recruit, it's like, you are missing something and you're probably not making any money.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard so many people tell me they've been told by their broker that, if you go somewhere else, it's going to be a career killer for you. You'll never be successful without our brand and all this kind of stuff. How important is the big box brand really to a realtor?
Yeah, well, I like to go to the stats. My personal opinion doesn't matter too much to other people, I'm sure. Maybe some of you watching know me and appreciate my opinion, but NAR says, National Association of Realtors, says that 3% of buyers and sellers choose their brand, choose the agent they're going to work with based on brand affiliation. So it's 3% of the time, probably less now.
Right.
And that's probably, inflated a little bit.
So 3 out of 100 sellers chose their agent because of the particular association with a particular firm.
Yeah, according to the last NAR report
that's
I read.
the NAR survey or profile of buyers and sellers. It comes out every year, and it's in Chapter 7, and I think that's Exhibit 7-6 or 8,
Yeah, I
I
think it's
believe.
6.
Is it? I think it's right in there, 6 or 8,
Yeah.
or 7 or 8. Sorry, Chapter 7. So that's really interesting because when you think about it, don't you really spend your entire life building relationships with other people, and then the first thing I did when I came over to EXP is I called the people I really cared about. You were one of the first people I talked with about it, and you had an open mind. You were able to look beyond the fact that at that time we only had 2,500 agents. We'd only been publicly traded for a year. The stock looked like it belonged on the Toronto Stock Exchange.
Yeah, it's like $1.
And it was a pink, sort of a pink sheet stock.
Penny stock.
But the thing is, at that time we had no debt, we had no outside investors, and I think that was what was really key for me. Was that we hadn't diluted all by having a bunch of hedge funds or other people going out to raise money. Glenn Sanford was brilliant when he did the reverse merger. It's now similar to what a SPAC is like, but at the time they didn't call it SPACs. But it was a vehicle for us to get public without having to get in bed with an investment bank and pay a whole bunch of fees and that kind of thing. And then eventually, as the company grew, we were able to uplist, and in I think it was 2018 we uplisted to NASDAQ, and that was what was just monumental. And we didn't have to reverse split our stock, or I mean, some of the stuff that I've seen some other people do out there that are trying to copy the EXP model, it just blows my mind. I think you've heard me say this 100 times, that agents spend more time planning their next vacation than they do investigating the brokerage that they're joining. But that's okay. I mean, they'll learn, and we always keep a light on for them. But we have the cleanest balance sheet, or the only company in our space that actually is turning a profit. Right. Which is really kind of interesting. So you're at this point in your life now, so you've officially been retired from selling real estate for over 5 years?
Yeah, it's been just about 5 years, yeah.
Okay. Is that something that would have been possible anywhere else?
No, definitely not. So I got into real estate because that financial freedom. Like I read Rich Dad Poor Dad in high school, and not having a lot of money growing up, it was a big driving force for me to eventually be wealthy, because I saw all the problems that come with not having enough money. It's a real thing. I think it's one of the number one reasons for divorce. I've been married 12 years to my beautiful wife, Abby, if you're watching this.
Two beautiful kids.
Two beautiful kids now.
God's miracles.
Breck and Bella,
right.
2.5 and 7 months almost.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, like, with joining, like, getting into real estate after reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, was the financial freedom. Like, I wanted that. I wanted to pursue that. I wanted to build wealth. I didn't want to have the issues that not having money has. And becoming a real estate agent, it kind of, like, makes it even worse. Because now, like, especially when you're newer or even experienced, like, I talked to so many agents. I've talked to countless independent brokers, countless team leaders, countless top producers, looked at their P&Ls, lifted up the hood of their business and really looked at their numbers with them. And if they weren't selling real estate, they're not making any money. That's the problem with our industry. There's so many vanity metrics out there. They got a trophy on stage. So, the people in the crowd, like me when I started, I'm admiring them. But you see what's going on in their home. They're getting divorced. They're never home. Their kids are like, what's going on? So I didn't want that. So at Keller Williams, it kind of felt like I was on that path a little bit. Although I did have a pretty good business. It was a smaller business. I was making about $20,000 a month, selling about 80 to 90 homes a year. I was probably working like 30 hours a week, because I've always been of the mindset of, like, in my mind, like, I'm a lifestyle entrepreneur. Like, I want to live life first, and only work to essentially serve the people I'm called to serve, and then also pay for my lifestyle. So it wasn't that bad, but I was like, the thing that bothered me about being a full-time real estate agent at the time was, even if I was home for dinner or on the weekends or on vacation, and I was a listing agent, so I did have some better control of my time, was lack of presence of mind. Thinking, oh, I got to call that seller and get a price reduction. We haven't had a lot of those in the last few years, but they might be coming. The market looks pretty good still, so we'll see. But price reductions, or that buyer you thought that was gonna, write a contract on a house, they call you up and they say they just wrote an offer on a new construction house without you, and all these little things that go on as real estate agents. Like, I just wanted to be present when I was at home, and it was a lot of stress. It was a lot of nights where it's like I'm finishing dinner and then I gotta go write an offer or review offers, and I started this conversation with I wanted financial freedom, time freedom, and location freedom. But what I discovered, and this is pretty recent within the last 6 months, what I was really after was a fourth freedom that I really didn't know existed. And now I refer to it as mindset freedom. I thought that the money, I thought that the time, I thought that being able to live anywhere I want and travel anywhere I want was going to buy me mindset freedom, where I didn't have worry, I didn't have stress, I didn't have anxiety. I was able to be fully present with my loved ones. And I do have financial freedom, I do have time freedom, I do have location freedom now, and I've had it for several years, but that doesn't magically allow mindset freedom to show up. So that's been a lot of what I'm working on now is the mindset part of it, to continue to just be present. We just live in a world where there's so many things coming at us, it's hard to do, but it's almost impossible to do, I think, without financial freedom.
Yeah. Some people are watching this show looking at you going, God, you're making all this money passively and everything, and it would take 1,000 rental properties for you to have the same cash flow that you're making now and everything. But the road here hasn't always been that easy, and I want you to, if you would, share with the audience a little bit about how important having discipline is, getting to where you are.
Man, discipline is something that I still struggle with, and I kind of think of discipline as discipline creates freedom. And I think a lot of agents get their license to be their own boss, to have freedom, and then they don't have discipline, so then they're like entrapped by their real estate career, and they have like no freedom because they don't have the discipline. What allowed me to have discipline in my real estate career was a high necessity. I had a mantra that I would say to myself, because I moved from Michigan to California for a few years, then all the way to North Carolina, and that's where I sold real estate. And I was running a failing painting company. I always say I was paint job to paint job. I wasn't doing that well. My wife's grinding away 14, 15 hours a day as an ICU nurse. Horrible quality of life. If you're a nurse, amazing. It's such a hard job.
Amen.
Kudos to you.
Yep.
But it just wasn't working. So I was like, I got to do this. So the first 6 months I was like trying everything. You show up to your office and you're hearing about all these different like trainings. You can do open houses, you can do online lead generation, you can call expired listings, for sale by owners, go to networking events. So I was like soaking it all up because I'm a learner, and I tried everything. And what I've learned is if you take a shotgun approach, you're not likely to have success. So I was like, man, I got to do something. So July, I heard a real estate conference was going to be in Vegas. That I don't remember how I heard about it, but I put the flight, the ticket on my credit card. I show up to Las Vegas. I'm wearing my cheap suit. I was 26 at the time. It was probably from my high school homecoming, And I was sitting there all excited and just kind of thinking to myself, like, okay, this is it. Like, I see the people in the front. They got the nice suits. They're wearing the one-on-one coaching badges, meaning they're spending a lot of money on coaching. And I'm like, this is going to be it, because what I hadn't been doing was taking consistent action, not having discipline. I was trying all these different things, thinking that one was going to be the magic bullet.
Throwing them at the wall, seeing what would stick.
I wasn't yet ready to commit to the hard work, and all of those strategies I mentioned work, but you got to work one until it works. So I'm sitting there, and I'm so excited. I cross my leg over the other one to take notes on my leg, and I notice I have a hole in my shoe, and I'm like,
I remember you telling that story.
Yeah. It's like, man, okay. So I've been an entrepreneur since I was like 12, knocking on doors, shoveling snow in Michigan growing up. And I worked full time since I was 14. And I was like, I'm 26. I live in the best country in the world. And yet I have a hole in my shoe. And sure, I probably could have bought a cheap pair. But I wasn't destitute. Everyone has a credit card these days. But I had a hole in my shoe. That's a standard that I don't allow. I mean, I'm wearing crispy white, brand new Nike shoes right now. Like that. That's like what I wear now. That's my standard. I want to present myself well. I don't want to wear a scuffed up hole in the shoes. And I'm thinking, my wife's back home working 14, 15 hours a day. I'm here in my cheap suit from high school, hole in my shoe. What's going to change this time? And it just hit me. It's like, enough's enough. So I said, now's the time. So I got home, I hired a coach on a credit card, and my mantra became, what was it? It was 20 contacts a day keeps the bill collectors away. So, yeah. And then,
I like that one.
Yeah.
It's very good. And it also keeps you front of mind with that as well.
Because that's what I call the grind phase. So that's when you need the discipline. As soon as I got to thrive phase, I was done being disciplined in my work, because I don't like discipline. I like discipline in some areas, but I'm very like, I could be out in the woods, like mountain biking, like every day, snowboarding, fishing, like doing fun stuff. Like I'm not going to be at my desk every day. Like I still see, like I was a Mike Ferry trained agent. I still see Mike Ferry agents that were on stage when I was there 10 years ago. They're still on stage. It's like your life is passing you by. And for some people, it's their hobby, it's their passion, it's their life to sit there and prospect all day for 20 years. That's not me. That was a chain on a ball. Like I was looking outside one day, I remembered there was people digging ditches to put in the new fiber optic cable going to our office. And I admired, probably not, I envied what they were doing because I had all the stress in my life. I was grinding away, people hanging up on me all day long. And they just got to clock in, dig some ditches, clock out, go home to their family, and enjoy the rest of their lives. Whereas an agent, you're always like thinking about it. So grind phase, when you have a necessity to be disciplined, it's a lot easier. So I don't know if I have any tips around being disciplined other than find like what is like that necessity. And then once I had the thrive phase, my business changed a little bit. And then I had the mantra, because I was still prospecting probably half the amount in thrive phase, but it became 20 contacts a day keeps the dream in play. So now I went from scarcity mindset, like I just got to keep these bill collectors away. I got to, pay my rent, pay my car payments, to 20 contacts a day keeps the dream in play, to have that house on the lake, to have a Lamborghini one day, a Range Rover, to take exotic vacations with my family, to be able to help out family in need and things like that, and give to charity and all those amazing things that you get to do when you have money. And it all came true a lot faster than I thought it was going to because of EXP.
So but again, I don't want people to get the wrong idea here that like you game over and the money tree just started falling. That's not what happened. I mean, it took you had to work to build what you have. There were some things you had relationships from past, but at the end of the day, there was still that sort of grind phase where you had to build a revenue share group, and it's not quick money. I mean, let's not get the audience thinking that you just came over here and boom, you hit the lottery. That's not how it worked. I mean, it took you time and a lot of effort and energy to really understand the best way to do attraction and to build the group. You want to talk a little bit about that, as how it kind of, relates to real estate and how you went through the process there to get from the grind to the thrive and sort of where you are.
Yeah, so when I joined EXP, my mindset was the initial conversation we had and the way it opened it up for me to take a look at EXP. I basically told you, I was like, I'm going to do this expansion model with KW for a year and try it. And if it doesn't work out the way I had hoped, I'm going to open my own brokerage. So I was looking for the next opportunity. I was looking for some kind of leverage so that I could have some time freedom and some financial freedom in my life. And you just said, it's like the end of our call. You're like, AJ, before you do anything, just watch this video. It was very low pressure. You were very professional about it. You're just like, before you do anything crazy, just watch this video. Let me know what you think. And that's how I find most attraction calls are. It's not like recruiting. Like recruiting just sounds kind of aggressive, I think, and that's why people say they don't want to be recruiters. It's usually like, hey, watch this video and let me know what you think. But so I joined EXP a few weeks later, actually. So I was like, what's the worst case scenario? I go back to Keller Williams and they give me a year free because they want me back. That's what happens. If you're at a different company, say you're going to EXP, then let them give you a better deal because it happens all the time. But so I was like, I'm just gonna keep selling real estate like always. I'm gonna keep growing my team, but I got a 5-year plan now. I was 30 years old. I was like, by the time I'm 35, I want to be able to retire from selling real estate if I choose to. And for me, my vision was to move my wife and I to Laguna Beach, California from Charlotte. We had gotten engaged there a few years prior.
Your favorite. Yeah, your happy place.
Yeah, our happy place. Yeah. And a funny thing, a year before joining EXP, I actually flew there. I actually flew to Vegas for another conference because all my vacations, as I was not making that much money, were on the back of conferences. Like you go to the conference and then you drive somewhere for like 2 days.
Right.
I didn't start taking real vacations until a couple of years ago, really. I mean, my motorhome trip we can talk about. But so we go to Laguna Beach, and I was there meeting with multiple Keller Williams Market Center team leaders to look at building an expansion team there. And both of those, it was in the Newport Beach Estates office, I think they call it, and the other one, which was in Laguna Niguel. And both those team leaders I met with are at EXP now.
Interesting.
They're both with EXP. Yeah,
Wow.
which is crazy to think. And they know me, like they say hi. They're like, I can't believe we met with you. And like, I think they're maybe a little aspirational to get to where I am now, which is really cool. Great people. Respect them. They're not in my organization, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. I'm not a great recruiter.
Right.
But anyway, so my goal was to move there. And by the time, so 35, I want to move to Laguna Beach. And to afford Laguna Beach, it's more expensive. My mindset was like, I want to be able to make $300,000 to $400,000 a year residual. So that was my 5-year plan. So I was like, okay, based on what I'm seeing with the compensation model at EXP, if I sell real estate at the same level I'm currently doing, 80, 90 homes a year, with a few agents, and I build revenue share, I think I can recruit, or attract, as we like to call it, 5 people a year for 5 years. So just 25 total. And I was personally selling 2-3 homes a month still at that time. So it was like, if I'm selling 2-3 homes a month, I can get 5 agents to join EXP. They have multiple streams of income. You can earn revenue share. You can get stock. It's a lower split in cap than I had before. They have healthcare, all these things. Great training, great support, great culture. So I was like, surely I can get 5. If I'm selling 30 homes a year, I can get 5 to join EXP. So it seemed like a no-brainer. I'm looking at the math. I'm like, I think if I get 25, they're going to tell their friends and colleagues, and they're going to probably turn into this organization of 500 agents based on what I was seeing. So my goal was 25 in 5 years that I was going to get. And this is the power of it. Like you mentioned prospecting, how does your real estate skills translate to this? It translates perfectly, but I think what's more important is the way you think about what you're doing. And everything's going to be a grind at first. Everything's going to be hard. That's life. But there's different business models that will pay you essentially forever off of that initial hard work. EXP does through our revenue share. Running a real estate team does not pay you forever. So 5 years was going to be it. So went to work on it. My first year I brought on, I think, 6 outside of my team, so a little ahead of schedule, but it turned into 157 total agents nationwide in my organization. So now I'm in multiple markets with generally little effort. And I was like, this might actually work. This leap of faith might actually work. And then 6 months later, so 18 months total at EXP, I had sponsored 22. I found that sponsoring agents was easier than selling homes for me, more fun, because when you help somebody, regardless of industry, see a better future for themselves, that's exciting. I got goosebumps thinking about it. People just live like dazed walking through this world, and when you can give them like a lighthouse, a north star for a direction for a better future, that's exciting. Sure, helping buyers and sellers is great. It's a noble. It's much needed. I'm a real estate agent. It took me out of a place where I was failing from a financial perspective. So I have so much respect for real estate agents. But helping a buyer and seller get into a home is most likely, in 99.9% of circumstances, not going to change their life. But when Cliff shared this opportunity with me, it drastically changed my life. I'm going to Jackson Hole for 10 days after this. Like, we're going backcountry snowmobiling, 2 hours from any near city. They take your phones, so completely unplugged, present for 4 days with 2 of my best friends, professional photographer, professional videographer, private chef, little lodge. Hopefully it's fun. It's going to be in the middle of nowhere and it's going to be freezing.
Hopefully.
I think it's going to be epic.
People like hanging out with the moose. And yeah, right.
For some people are like, that sounds awful, but I'm excited for a new adventure. I've never done it. And before that, it's 4 days of snowboarding, which I love. It's my favorite thing to do. I would be in Charlotte right now, selling real estate most likely, grinding away. I'm with my kids every single day, all day.
Yeah. I'll
go to my office for maybe an hour. I come down, grab a snack, play with them for a half hour. I go back up to my office, go to the beach, take a golf cart ride, go play. RC cars right now we're doing on the golf course. We're hitting golf balls. Like, you drastically changed my life. And when I saw that with 4 other people that I was talking to, I was like, this is way more fun than selling real estate. So to get back on point, I ended up getting 22 people to join in 18 months, and that turned into 500. So my 5-year goal happened in just 18 months, which is crazy. And I can never forget this day because my wife and I did a Facebook Live, so it shows up in our memories every year. So I can never forget it unless Facebook goes bankrupt. But we hit 500 on June 18th, 2018, our 5-year goal. 2 months later, we're like, we have our freedom now, and we have been wanting. On the plane here, I was actually on multiple occasions in tears going over my journal from 14, 15, 16, all before EXP, and I wrote down, like, travel the country in a motorhome, be able to drive my golf cart to the beach every day. Like, this was all in there, and I was broke. I was probably 300 grand in debt. I'm a multimillionaire today. Like, it's absolutely unbelievable. And I don't know where I was going with that, but so 2 months later, we're like, we have this financial freedom. Let's take advantage of it. Because the other problem I see happening, and I don't know their hearts, so I don't want to judge, but I find some people become successful in life financially, but they have their identity wrapped up so much in work, and it's just become so much of who they are. And there's a lot of different pieces to it, but my hope for a lot of people once they have financial freedom is they actually claim it and do something with their family that they've really been hoping to do. So we sold our house in Charlotte, traveled the country for a year in a motorhome, and then moved to the Caribbean. You know, we're living our bucket list, and it's unbelievable. And now, 5 years in, we hit 6,000 agents instead of 500.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, God's been blessing us in a big way, blessing this company, blessing its leadership. It's absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah. You know, you and I have been here about 6 years. I have heard people say that, well, I wish I'd have joined 6 years ago. It's too late now.
Mm-hmm.
What word do you have for those people?
I have words,
Okay.
multiple. You know, there's a couple of thought process to have. So it's like, well, now you're joining a company that's proven. When I joined, it was a leap of faith. You know,
Well, the revenue share is only as good as the company is around.
that's
right?
the big thing. Now that we have competitors,
Number one, make sure your company's going to
exactly.
be around a year from now so they can continue to pay the rev share.
And make sure you have sales number 2. Right?
Yeah,
Because
yes,
without sales, there's no revenue share.
I'm blown away every day at the massive producers joining this company.
Huge.
Like EXP sells real estate. It's insane. So that's part of it. So it's like, now that we have some competitors out there, it's like, do you want to join a winning team that's proven talent that is more likely to be here much longer than all the others because it's already proven? Like, I remember the growing pains early on where these other companies are not even at. They don't even know what they're going into.
Right.
And
They're not even in all 50 states.
Yeah.
Or,
We've already
Yeah.
beat that. We've already figured out those problems. So there's that. But the too late thing, it's like, you know, it's like my 5-year goal is 500 agents. Like,
Right.
that was going to allow me to move into one of the most expensive zip codes in the nation, in a multi-million-dollar house, be able to travel wherever I want, not work, go to the beach every day, learn how to surf, paddleboard, on 500 agents in my organization. I have 6,500. So it's like, even if you never even had 6,000 agents, if that was your goal after seeing this interview, 300 agents for most realtors will make you financially free. That's a big deal. And you're doing it with a company that has proven talent, proven leadership, that's proven over and over and over to care about its agents more than any other company, most agent-centric company that's existed. And if I'm me, because I think about this sometimes, because as I talk to agents considering other companies, you know, I'm in these conversations still weekly because I love it, just a lot less because I have other priorities, my family. So I put myself, like, if I'm an agent leaving Keller Williams today, like, where am I going? And I'm like, every time EXP, because all my wildest financial dreams can happen here today with proven leadership. Like, I want sustainability. Right. I'm not here for a short time. I'm here for a long time.
Right.
It's already been done.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
that's the thing. It's people aren't blazing a new trail now.
No, that's what we
like
were
we
doing.
were.
Yeah.
Now there's a beaten path and there's a repeatable way. No, I agree with you. There's a lot that we had to go through as a company to really get the model, you know, where it would be sustainable, and that's the whole thing. You know, I look at our friend, just for an example. You said that you had how many did you have total your first year? 100 and
157.
157,
Mm-hmm.
and then here along comes somebody like John or Lars Hedenborg.
Yeah.
And, you know, this is recently,
Yeah.
and their first year Lars just completed his first year not too long ago, right? And he finished his first year with 1,000.
Yeah, a little shy of 1,000. John, so I think John may hold the #1 record in the company for 1,000 in 13 months, just north of. So either way, both those guys are probably top 5 for growth.
That blows me away.
Yeah, so we joined 6 years ago, and they joined 2 years ago, 2-ish years ago, and they're breaking company records, and there's gonna be people that break their records.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
That's just the way it works.
And if you look at someone like Levi and Travis that just got in.
Yeah.
Less than 2. It was about a year and a half ago. They
Dallas
got the
locals.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, the thing is that because there's a 30% attrition rate in our industry,
Right.
80% of the commissions that will be earned in 5 years will be earned by people who today don't have a real estate license.
Exactly.
And if you understand the math and the numbers, that is what is so incredibly interesting, because we always are building. If you don't recruit or attract in this business, you will die as an entity. And I mean, that's just the nature of the business. And I still say, people who say, well, I'm not a recruiter, then I would just say, well, if you're not a recruiter, then how many houses are you selling, and what are you doing to get those clients? Aren't you recruiting those clients?
Or, okay, great. What's your exit strategy?
Well, that's the other thing.
Even if we didn't have rev share, we still got stock.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said earlier, how many real estate retirement parties have you been to?
I'm going to throw one. I've been saying I'm going to throw one, and I'm going to do it at some point. I'm going to invite everybody. So you guys are invited. We'll do it like in Vegas at a company, after our company conference or something.
Sure,
and it's going to be the real estate agent's retirement party. It'll be our retirement party.
Nice.
Because then we can say we've been to one.
Yeah.
It's true. So it's just my mission now is helping people get clear on their goals. It's like, how much time do we got?
Well, I was just going to ask you about what you're going forward here, kind of what gets you out of bed. We got just a couple of minutes left.
Cool.
Yeah.
So this is what gets me out of bed from a business perspective, and I'll share this short story, then I'll share what I'm excited about lifestyle-wise, and because I like to share these things because it inspires others. It inspired me when I had nothing. So I was facilitating this high-level mastermind about 8 years ago, and I asked everybody, everyone's making great money. They're all real estate agents. They're making great money. I said, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy you are? And I went around, it was a Zoom mastermind, and I went to each person. I said, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you? And most of them said 4, 5, 6. And you could see the pain in their eyes. And although they were successful, lots of money, getting awards on stage, something was missing. And it was at that moment, this was before EXP, that I was like, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to figure this out for me, and I'm going to help others. So from a business perspective, being essentially a stay-at-home dad that still works when he chooses, it's the most amazing blessing that I could ever have. Like, I love being home with my family. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I got to go to work because it's too much out. You can only play with a 2.5-year-old on the carpet for so long. And then I'm like, let me go to work, which is great. I get to choose that. So it's like it's helping people just take back their families, take back their lives through our great industry, real estate. Selling, not necessarily selling more houses, but make more money selling houses, make more money as a real estate agent while working less. So that drives me business-wise. Personal-wise, I have some, definitely some financial milestones I'm looking to hit. My goal is to essentially match my EXP revenue share at some point through my investments. So I like to invest in real estate, private equity, so syndications, index funds, and just venture capital. So I love investing, so that's exciting for me. I love business in general, but more than anything, I'm excited to help gather men in our industry and lead them from the perspective as taking back their lives, and maybe we'll have some awesome adventures together, like this Jackson Hole thing that we're doing. I'd love to see that grow. I'd love to see 20, 50 guys getting together and doing that.
Yeah, well, I know for a lot of us, it's a work ministry, and it's just a great way to impact lives and help people that we would have never had this reach had we not made the decision. And it wasn't an easy decision. I know. I mean, yeah, we saw it, we looked at it, but it was still a risk back then. But you know what? If you really don't get very far in life if you
don't take risks.
You don't take risks. You know? Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly.
One of the best risks you guys both took in your entire lives, I'm sure.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And it was a very small risk.
Yeah, well, it turned out,
Right, what's the worst thing that could have happened? You flopped
when you think about
EXP
it,
and you went back to KW. I mean, what's the
sure.
worst thing that could happen?
You just got to take chances sometimes.
That's right. Well, man, I'm so glad that we've been able to reconnect here, and that you wanted to stop by and visit, and it's just it's great to see you again. And you have such a wonderful family. Your wife Abby and your beautiful children are. Just I stalk AJ all the time on
Facebook stalking.
Instagram. Yeah.
That's what we do as humans these days, is see what's going on the social medias.
Isn't it great? I mean,
it's
think
fun.
about it. It'd be really tough to keep up, if you didn't have that.
It can be dangerous if you start comparing yourself to others and things like that. But when you look at it from catching up with friends and family, what a great way to stay connected.
Yeah, it really is. But I'm just so thankful that you are in our lives, and just appreciate
Likewise.
the work you continue to do to help build up your family, build up your friends, and build up people who you don't even know yet. By the way, speaking of people who you don't even know yet, if somebody seeing this video down the road would like to just reach out to you and have a conversation with you about anything, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, I appreciate you asking. My website's AJ Mida, AJMIDA.com. You can go there for my blog and my YouTube videos, or just go to my YouTube channel, AJMida.com. Active on Instagram, same handle. And I think after this, we might be getting a hunk of that red meat you were talking about at the Cowboys Club.
Yes,
Yes. That's the
exactly
plan
it.
tonight.
Is that the Cowboys training facility?
It is.
It is, yeah.
Awesome.
Unfortunately, it was an early end to the season, earlier than we thought.
Oh,
but,
no.
Yeah, Cowboys are.
But that's
Yeah.
the way it goes.
Next year, right,
sometimes.
Trellis?
Next year, yeah. They cleaned house. Trellis, you like next year? I know Trellis
guess.
is our
I haven't seen
spiritual
him since the
guru.
loss. So
I guess.
Yeah, we were mourning the passing of.
We were in New
Dak
York with
Prescott.
that game. Yeah, that's
it was
right.
Pretty
Yeah.
bad passing he did. That
Yeah.
game. But anyway, that's all right. We'll pick it up. And
Sorry to bring it up. I'm
No,
excited.
it's
okay.
I'm excited for dinner with you guys.
I'm just wondering if they're going to be serving anybody in particular tonight.
Right
Yeah.
on the
We'll just go
menu.
somewhere else.
We'll get that grass-fed beef. Yeah.
Exactly. But anyway, wish you the
Yes.
best on your trip. Please say hello
Safe.
to our dear friends,
Yeah.
Safe.
John and Lars, and I know you guys are going to have a ball.
Oh yeah, John told me to say thank you. He said you've been helping him a lot with growing his EXP organization. So he's like, tell Uncle Cliffy that
Uncle
I appreciate
Cliffy,
him.
Everybody calls
Uncle
you
Cliffy.
You're going to be Cousin Cliffy when
Cousin
it
Cliff,
gets
yeah.
falls into your hands here.
We'll
But
see.
yeah, no, that's what I love doing. Because in my chair, just seeing the fruits that are being borne by.
Yeah.
People that I've known for years in the business, and just to see their lives reach that point where they do have that financial time and location freedom, and now, as you mentioned, mindset freedom. I love that too, because you got to get your head right in order to enjoy the other three.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you have a mind. You just if you fear success, you can't handle things like that. But that's how we support each other as well. And
Yeah.
I know that the time that you guys spend together, you all come out better for doing that. So
That's what it's about. Iron sharpens iron.
that's it, exactly. Thank you, Chuck Fazio. Indeed, yes, another good friend of ours. AJ, I wish you the best. Ladies and gentlemen, get a hold of AJ. His website, ajmida.com, and you guys, I'm sure, will post some pictures of your trials and tribulations out there with the wild animals in the cold.
Check
Can't
it
wait.
out in a week because they'll be taking our cell phones. But the next 4 days, I'll definitely post some slopes. Then our phones are being taken away.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's going to be good.
That's amazing.
Follow me. Check
All
it
right,
out.
ladies and gentlemen. Well, next week we're going to be back. We're in town for a while.
We are back.
So
Yeah.
and we will
Yeah.
have another great guest on. But AJ, thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here. If it wasn't for you, give us a little love. Show us some love. Hit the like button. The love. Is there a love button on there yet?
There's
If
been
there's not, there
love,
should be.
like,
Yeah, love, like,
laugh.
On Facebook?
Yeah, laugh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you got all that.
Yeah,
the buttons.
you know,
All the
just-
buttons.
Yeah.
All the emojis.
Just share your love, share the video. We love you guys. If it wasn't for you all out there, we wouldn't be here. So much love from Lincoln Center in Dallas, Texas. And we'll see you next time right here on
Cliff's Notes.
All right, folks, tune in to Cliff's Notes every Thursday at 1 o'clock Central for the tips, tricks, and tactics to explode your business. I guarantee it.